Outdoor Living Concepts presents What's Cooking California? Brought to you by Folded Hills Winery and Barkingham Pet Hotel. Featuring Chef Andrew Copley and Leonardo Curti, with special guest Melinda Lee.
Welcome to California.
Che profumo.
A little bit of S&P, a little bit of salt and pepper.
È buonissima.
You can stir it and whisk it and taste it and monkey with it and get it just right and have a wonderful time.
Let's see what's cooking today.
Welcome everybody, I'm Chef Andrew Copley. What we're going to do today is we're going to look at basil. It grows everywhere. And the first thing we're going to do today is minestrone soup. And I'm using root vegetables because they're a vegetable that is really underrated and I think it's got a lot of flavor. So the first thing I want to do is show you how I set up my mise en place, which is kind of a fancy word. It's basically the preparation. And we're taking 8 ingredients. And as you see, I've lined them up so I know exactly how they want to go into my dish. So we've got the diced onions for some sweetness and that onion flavor. We're using carrots, color, flavor, and sugar again. We've got parsnips and leeks and celery. These give like an earthy flavor. Rutabaga, not a lot of people use it, but it's a beautiful root vegetable. And again, it adds a little earthiness and it adds to that really nice, unique minestrone flavor. We've got Napa cabbage, which cooks very quickly. And then this one, this is our apple bacon. And now, if you want to do this vegetarian, you can completely take this out. But this is beautiful in a minestrone soup. So let's get started. So where we are right now is I've got 4 tablespoons full of extra virgin olive oil. And I've just done a little test to make sure that my onions and the oil are pretty much at the right temperature. And we start to add all my ingredients. So we're going to start with the onions, the carrots, the leeks, the celery. Now, none of these vegetables really can overcook. So what I'm doing is pretty much adding the vegetables, and then I'm going to reduce the temperature so it caramelizes and I get all the flavors out of the vegetables for my minestrone soup. So these are the parsnips, rutabaga, and then we finish with the cabbage, and we've got our apple bacon in there too. So let's give this a quick stir around. You'll find out when it's ready because the actual vegetables will shrink. So it's been about 12 minutes now with the vegetables, and I just want to show you how the vegetables have reduced in volume, which basically means they've shrank, they've caramelized, and we've got all that delicious flavor. So what I need to do is, rather than lose the flavor, I need to extract it from the vegetables. Now, the simplest way to do that one is with liquid and what I call a binding agent or a thickening agent. And the first one we're going to use is tomato paste. So we simply take our tomato paste, which is concentrated tomatoes basically. And this is going to help give the soup some body. You can't smell this, but the flavor is just incredible. As I work that one in, my next little secret, and this is the secret to this soup, is this one. Now, this is actual garlic that has been simmered or poached in olive oil. So what I mean by that is we don't boil it, otherwise it goes too brown, and we want a nice white color. So we just simmer it. Once I've simmered the garlic, I really just transfer this into my Cuisinart. And I blend it in the Cuisinart, and that's how we get that beautiful, nice paste, which I'm going to use in the soup. All right, so let's get this garlic in here now. And like I say, this is going to add flavor and body to the soup. So there's our 2 binding agents, or thickening agents is what we can call them. And as you can see now, the soup takes on a whole different texture. It thickens up a little, and it kind of looks like a vegetable stew. What I'm using right now for my liquids is a dry white wine. So we're not using a Chardonnay, just a simple Sauvignon Blanc works really well. And I'm using low sodium chicken broth. And if you've noticed, right now, I haven't used any S&P, salt and pepper. Okay, I've been a little bit shy on using that one. And this is when I am going to start seasoning it, but I'm only going to use a small amount of salt. Why would I do that? Any ideas? Because we have the bacon in here. Bacon has some saltiness to it already, so we don't want to over-season it. So a little bit of salt goes in, a little bit of black pepper, and then we're just going to continue just to blend this in. And now my vegetable stew is starting to look like a minestrone soup. So again, I'm going to add a little bit of liquid, and I'm not adding all the liquid at once. So let's turn this up and give this a little simmer, and then we're ready to finish off the soup. So I've given it another 5 minutes, and as you can see, our soup now is starting to incorporate all the flavors of the vegetables, all the flavors of the garlic, the tomato paste, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of Parmesan cheese. The reason I've done this with a grated Parmesan cheese and not the shaved one, you know, the ones you always see, it's just for the presentation side of it. And then the last thing I'm gonna add is just some beautiful fresh herbs. You can use whatever's in your garden, really, but always put it in at the very end. It gives it a nice pop and a nice freshness to your soup. I'm going to turn this way down now to below a simmer and pretty much give it a taste test, correct the seasoning, and we're ready to go with the soup. I'm just going to give it a taste test for our seasoning. Now remember, we didn't go heavy on the salt because of the apple bacon and also the Parmesan cheese too. But I want to make sure I have enough pepper. Perfect. My family are going to love this. What we're going to do next is pop the soup into our bowl, and can you see how the ratio of liquid to vegetables, it's minestrone, so it's got to be warming and heartening. I do serve a lot of vegetables in the middle, and then as you see around the side, you've got that beautiful rich sauce which has come out of all the flavors what was in the pot. So there you go. That's our first one of the day, is a minestrone soup.
We're so excited to have you back with us for our new season. Trio has the happiest happy hour every day from 11 to 7. Come join us. Brunch a Go-Go from 10 a.m. Saturdays and Sunday. Enjoy our 3-course prefix every day from 11 to 6 for $22.99. Things are really heating up, where the 5 is always cool at Trio.
Trio, where Palm Springs eats.
Welcome to Barkingham Pet Hotel, California. We are a 5-star luxury real hotel for dogs. Your dog will be treated like California royalty. We have an indoor, outdoor facility. Everything in the building is a California theme. California Dreaming Pet Boutique, California Grooming. Your dog can come to us for a whole spa day. California Dreamin' Pet Art, a pet art photography studio. California Paws Rescue. We have a certified dog trainer who offers behavior training and agility training. Our large luxury suites have king-size beds. We also have the Intercontinental for cat boarding. We've got about 22,000 square feet for your dog to have a wonderful time and a wonderful vacation stay. Doesn't your best friend deserve the best? California Paws Rescue is a 501c3 nonprofit. It is part of Barkingham Pet Hotel. If you're looking for a loving dog to rescue and to give a home to, please visit California Paws Rescue website.
Nobody says outdoor entertaining better than Outdoor Living Concepts. Transform your backyard into the ultimate barbecue and entertainment experience. From professional barbecue equipment, outdoor kitchens, to custom-built fireplaces, fire tables, and fire pits. Outdoor Living Concepts, your exclusive dealer for jacuzzi brand spas. From rustic to modern, we can customize your backyard into the ultimate in backyard fun. Visit our contractor wholesale design showroom open to the public in Palm Desert. Let Outdoor Living Concepts make your outdoors the great outdoors.
So, we've used half of the basil in our minestrone soup, but we still have another half to use up. So we've got some more dishes we're going to put together. This one is so simple. It's beautiful. It goes with beef, it goes with pork, and it'll go with chicken. And it's kind of a marinade stroke sauce, which I'm going to make. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop in our garlic, and it's going to sizzle. So don't be afraid of that part. It's going to sizzle a little. And then it's going to sizzle even more when we put in our ginger. And these two smell delicious together. They really do. And I'm just going to cook that on a medium heat, okay? So we did have the heat up a little high to get that little sizzle or that smokiness from the oil. And now I've turned it to a medium because I don't want to burn it, obviously. So that's on our medium. And this roughly only takes about a minute. Now, as these start to incorporate, I turn this on a really low heat. So it's still cooking, but very, very low. In here, I've got basil, I've got a little bit of fresh thyme, a little bit of parsley. And I'm just going to add these into here like this. And with it being on a low heat, it's not going to burn the actual mixture of herbs as well. So we're just going to bring that across like that and incorporate them all together. Now, what we're going to do next is take our other 3 ingredients. So really, there's only 6 ingredients in total to this. We've got a little bit of grain mustard, which I love. A little bit of fresh lemon juice is going in, so that's just 1 lemon. And then I'm using some clove honey. So we've got some citrus going on, we've got some sweetness, and we've got some honey flavor. I'm just going to whisk this together. As I incorporate these, the next part is to add this. Now this is going to feel a little oily because we did add a little bit of oil, but that's the reason for that is so we can baste it on the fillets or the beef fillets we're using. So let's put all that in here like that. And again, that ginger smells absolutely awesome. So the marinade is ready. We've got our 6 ingredients ready to go. Again, this can be used with chicken, beef, or pork even. I'm using it with beef today, and I'm going to use a beef fillet, which obviously is the most kind of tenderest and expensive part of the animal, but you can go with a lower grade because it really does give it a lot of flavor. Now, what I want to do is marinate both sides, and the easiest way I find to do this is to put a little bit of marinade on the bottom of my plate or baking sheet or whatever I'm using as far as a container, and then I'm just going to sit them on top like this. That way, the protein, the meat here gets a little marinade both top and bottom. And I'm going to leave this for about, I don't know, 20 minutes at the most, maybe a little bit more, while we start the potatoes. So my potatoes, like I say, have been chopped, evenly sized, and in just some fresh water overnight. From there, we're going to boil them. So we have these on there for about 20 minutes. Now here comes the best part about this dish. This is what's going to blow all the people away. You're going to flavor them with basil, and I'm going to show you how.
Leonardo Ristorante is proud to present closed captioning for the hearing impaired.
Welcome to Desert Outreach Synagogue, the voice of the valley. A place called home to anyone who needs one. A place of incredible music, community, conversation, and connection.
Desert Outreach Synagogue is a place for everyone.
Come join us. You already belong.
Hi, I'm Robin Ford. Thinking about selling your home? We have the newest innovation in selling, fast track marketing, custom designed just for you. By using it, your home could be sold while your neighbor still sits on the market. If you're looking for a home, we have many great ones to show you. So for a smooth transaction, call 760-219-0655.
Folded Hills is about sharing what we have. The way we make the wine is a very hands-off policy with as little intervention as possible. The grapes are all grown organically.
I come from the beer world. We really listened to this land, and we chose the grown varietals because this is what this land and this place calls for.
We have weak Wi-Fi but strong connections.
A great place to unplug.
So this is the fun part of the potatoes. We're going to take this basil and I'm simply going to blanch it. What that means is I'm going to put these fresh basil leaves into this salted boiling water. It'll be in there for maybe 10 seconds at the most. So it's really simple. Salted boiling water, pop that in like this. Obviously be careful you don't put your hands in there. Take a extended tongs so you don't get splashed from any of that boiling water. Mix it around. I turn it off. So it's going to slow the cooking process down. And as you can see, I'm just going to pop that into my iced water. And if you can see the difference now in this, I'm going to bring it to the camera and show you. Let's just do that like this. Once that goes in the ice water, look how nice and fluorescently green this is. So that's the idea to blanching. So we take the basil and we give it a squeeze so we get all the excess water out of the basil. I'd add a little bit of olive oil into my blender and then I pop these leaves in. I give it a quick zap with a machine and that's what it comes out looking like. It's a beautiful fluorescent basil flavored oil, which is what we're going to use for our potatoes. Okay, so now we're down to cooking our steaks. And like we said before, we're using a fillet. You can see there's a little thickness to this fillet, but I'm going to show you basically how you get a good temperature. So I put a little, probably about 3 tablespoons full of oil in this, olive oil, and I've run it all the way along the plate. So I don't want to submerge this in a lot of oil. It really just is an area so that it'll stop the actual steak sticking to the pan. I've got it on a medium heat, and I'm going to start just by simply doing this. You see how I'm rubbing the steak? That is to help it or prevent it from sticking. If I just went right down in the bottom, it kind of disperses the oil a little bit. So it's always better to give it a little rub around. You have less chance of these sticking to the actual saucepan or your saute pan. So I'm going to let these cook on a medium heat. And because I'm cooking them to medium, I'm probably going to give them about 3 minutes on each side. I don't want it too hot because I don't want the marinade to burn because of the actual honey. It'll caramelize and then start to burn. So we keep them on a medium heat just to sear that bottom fully. And if you look here, I told you we're using this as a separate sauce as well. So I separated this, and this is absolutely delicious. So we can serve this separate if somebody wants extra helpings, and I can assure you they probably will. One of my favorites. So we're 3 minutes into the actual cooking now, and I'm just going to flip these steaks over very simply with my tongs. And as you can see, sometimes the marinade will come off and go into the pan, but remember we have plenty of this and we have our extra there, so don't be shy to add a little bit more onto the top. We're going to give these another 3 minutes on this side, and then we're going to check them for medium rare. All right, so here we are, we're 3 minutes in. Now, it's not exactly on the actual number 12 on your timer that it's going to be 3 minutes, so we're going to test them first. So I'm looking for a medium. Now, the best way to do this, and I've done this many times, is you kind of push around on your knuckle here up to your thumb to see where you get a little bit more play, and you kind of get play in the middle of your hand. And generally, that kind of represents the same with the beef. So I'm looking for the same kind of resistance on the meat as what I get here. And that tells me that that's kind of a medium right now, maybe a tiny bit under, but I'm okay with that one because I'm going to let them rest for a few minutes before I serve them. So at this stage, the test, we're right on the nail. So we're down to the finish now, we're down to plate up. Pop the both steaks, I'm going to do another steak on here. And again, this steak, I like to put it at either 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock on the plate, and that gives me enough room here to work with. So we have our steaks already set. Now the basil puree we made, look at this. This is what goes into our potato, and that looks absolutely delicious. It gives it flavor, it gives it color. It's just an awesome way of taking an average mashed potato or a basic mashed potato and just kicking it up a little notch there. So give that a little mix. I've actually served this, believe it or not, with salmon in one of the restaurants. At EP3, we do a Mediterranean salmon, and we use olives and tomatoes and feta cheese, and the color contrast and the flavors are incredible. But for this one, it's just as good. So we'll pop a little bit of mash on this side, and a little bit of mash on that side. And now we're 3/4 of a way through our basil. We just have the last quarter to do, and we're going to make an ice cream with it.
Hi, my name is Greg Jones. My wife and I bought Gold Coast Motors 26 years ago after running the 10th largest Ford dealership in the United States.
Yes, they are small, but what you get is 33 years of experience and Greg's personal attention to detail.
He buys every car, truck, and SUV that goes on the lot. Our family has bought 14 vehicles from Greg.
We are members of Cuddle, so financing is not an issue. Call me. You'll be glad you did. We're not going anywhere.
Call Gold Coast Motors, 805-350-1350.
Hi, I'm Leonardo. I bring to you regional Italian food from Italy, my home, to you, to Solvang. Cooking is like love. You either throw yourself all in or you don't do it at all.
We're so excited to have you back with us for our new season. Trio has the happiest happy hour every day from 11 to 7. Come join us. Brunch a Go-Go from 10 a.m. Saturdays and Sunday. Enjoy our 3-course prefix every day from 11 to 6 for $22.99. Things are really heating up, but the vibe is always cool at Trio.
Trio, where Palm Springs eats.
So yes, I said basil ice cream. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a basic vanilla ice cream base, and then we're going to flavor it. So what I have in here right now is 4.5 cups of liquid, which is 3 cream and 1.5 cups of milk. That's the one that I swear by. That's the best way to, as far as your mixture ratio to milk and cream. Here I have a cup of sugar. I have 8 egg yolks, so just the egg yolks, not the white. We can use that for something different. And a little bit of pure vanilla essence. So let's pop that one in, just to get the flavor started, to steep it basically. Now here's what we want to do. It's called tempering the eggs. I'm going to turn this on a medium heat. I don't want it too high, otherwise, as you know, it all bubbles over. What I need to do here is to make sure that this doesn't become a scrambled egg mix. So we temper the eggs, which means these are cold and this is hot. It's going to boil or simmer. I'm going to need to add a little bit of this mixture to this to warm it up. Once it warms up and I mix it together, which you'll see in a minute, then it stops it from making that scrambled egg mixes, which we don't want. So with the sugar, like I said, we have a cup of it. I'm going to give half the mix in here and half the mix in here. And again, that's about a cup. Give that a little mix. We'll let that steep, or let that come to a very simmer, and then we mix the eggs and sugar together here. So this is finished with, that's our vanilla, that's gone. So it's not really complicated at all, it's actually quite simple. What I want to do now is I'm going to temper the egg yolks. So we're going to take a little, we don't need a lot of this hot milk and cream, but we need to put enough just to warm this mixture up. So I'm not using a huge ladle, I'm just using a spoon. And I think that might help me, that might cover it here. Let's pop that on there. And again, I'm using a glass bowl compared to a plastic one so I can feel the temperature on the side, and that's starting to warm up, so that's good. This is starting to boil, and I don't want that to boil over, so I'll bring that down to a simmer, which I would be anyway before I add this mix. And then it's a simple pour in here, and you gotta whisk like crazy. Now, what's gonna happen with this mix is we tempered the eggs, so they're going to, basically as they get hotter and hotter and start to cook, they will thicken this mix. Now, you're not going to see it completely because the mixture's hot. So you'll feel it in your whisk. You'll feel it start to thicken slightly. But once this is chilled all the way down and is ready for my ice cream machine, that's when it looks like a custard. That's when the mixture's cool and it does start to set a little. But I can feel it now start to thicken. All right. Yeah, I can feel this. This is ready. So as a safety precaution, because there is a chance that you are going to scramble a little bit, we're going to take a little flour sieve or a strainer, and I'm going to strain it through like this. That will eliminate any kind of scrambled egg mix. And actually, I didn't get that at all. But it's better to be safe than sorry. All right, good. So the ice cream base is made and chilled. We're going to add our basil puree into the ice cream. We're going to put on the machine, and for about 45 minutes I'm going to let this churn. And what it'll do is it'll bring all the flavors together into the ice cream. The one thing it will not do is you will not be able to just scoop directly from the actual machine. You just have to pop it back in the freezer for an hour or two. It hardens up, and then when you're ready to scoop, then it's easy to scoop from there on. But that's a really simple recipe for our basil ice cream. So let's try the basil ice cream. Like I say, it's one of my favorite ice creams. You get that predominantly strong basil coming through. It has a tiny little bit of vanilla, and it just works really well with a lot of desserts. It pairs really well. So join us next time. We've got some great ideas and some great chef tips. We'll see you soon. And now a moment with Melinda Lee.
Well, this is about garlic. Lots of us use lots of garlic, but there is the problem of peeling it. A number of solutions come to mind. First of all, you take a clove of garlic, you put it under the flat side of a knife, you smack it down, you cut the ends off, and the peel semi-well comes apart. Another way is this little roller contraption. You put some pressure on it and roll it like this, and out come peeled cloves of garlic. The best little hack I know is you put your unpeeled cloves of garlic in a bowl, and you put another bowl of about the same size right on top, and then you shake it. So you shake it, and then you take the lid off, and you won't believe this, but all those garlic cloves are peeled. If you only have one, I just would do it by hand. Then when you go to cut up your only one, the helpful thing is to have some salt so that it doesn't stick to the knife and to your fingers and everything else, which it semi-does. Now, the best thing I can tell you is how to get the lovely fragrance of garlic off your fingers. And the way you do it is you turn on the sink, let cold water run, take a stainless steel anything under the cold water, rub your fingers on the stainless steel, and it'll take the fragrance of garlic off your hands. So enjoy.
Go to whatscookingcalifornia.com for featured recipes.